thrive in that lane. You're never really under any threat. You have nice regeneration as well on Lifestealer, so you'll be completely fine against the damage from the Sandstorm and the Caustic.
Well, off we go. Game 2 here. Boom, taking that game 1, and Extreme looking to try and strike back. And we do have an update with something that we were talking about earlier on. Extreme Gaming already qualified to EWC in Riyadh through the ACL, the qualifier over in China. So if Extreme Gaming now get top 8 in EPT, their ACL spot, which is China specific, goes to Tidebound, the runner-up, the second place team in that best of 5, not to one of the 9th or 10th place spots from the EPT board.
Yeah, so Tidebound are really rooting for Extreme Gaming to do very well here. They're like, come on, guys, please go to the top 8, because then they would inherit that qualification slot, which, very, very strong mechanic for them if that happens. Extreme Gaming, though, for them, it's more important as well to just, see this tournament as a fantastic place to get all the jitters out, get all the stuff settled in preparation for that massive event in EWC.
Yeah, basically, Tidebound want Extreme Gaming to get top 5 or better, and then there's obviously other teams that they want to do poorly. But that's all in the future. In the current, the present, the here and now, we've got Jackie Boys getting hammered and battered by ET, Monkey, and Shadow Shaman, giving Polosin the first blood.
That's also where you gotta say, did he need to skill tree grab already? Did he need to not have Avalanche? I hate to see the situations where a player skills up and, I know that he would otherwise have to regen the mana a little bit later from grabbing a tree, but he could easily have lived there had he skilled up Avalanche instead.
Yeah. And then also, Arme running away from that bottom lane, gets back to Fountain and has to return, was also taking a bit of a hounding and harassment from Boom as they made a move into that bottom jungle. But he's able to return to lane unscathed. Jackie Boy is going to come back up here alongside the Januel Jakiro. No access to small camp, and lane now in front of Radiant Tier 1. Means that Extreme Gaming very happy with the state of affairs early on.
Yeah, off to a really good start on their offlane. And we'll keep an eye on Boom's offlane as well as Jabs, of course. Did have a bit of a struggle in the previous game, to say the least, but he found his way back into it. This time, wants to get off to a better start as the Sand King.
Jakiro against Shadow Shaman. Getting turned into a little chicken. Returning fire with the liquid fire. I'm trying to control that large camp for any pulls. Looks like.
Yeah.
We've got ourselves Extreme Gaming in a nice spot.
The monkey bug for Armel. He wants to be able to see his opponent's last hits. One of these days, Valve will finally fix this bug. Because, I did lane against Monkey yesterday in my pub, and it's pretty annoying. I can't pause and reconnect like these pro players can. So I can't see his animations. But, Valve will listen one day.
Eventually. Meanwhile, Monkey King is going to continue T-posing on everyone.
Yeah. I mean, at least it looks hilarious, but some of the fun gets sucked out when you get denied like 5 times in a row.
You don't see his massive bow staff being moved.
Yeah.
Well, Sand King, what's he got? 4 last hits, wave in front of his tower. Happy days for Jabs. That move on to Arme early on definitely helped out and keep the Lifestealer at bay for the first wave anyway.
Yeah, really good stuff. So Ringmaster already starting to prep. Tim's has gone back and stacked up some jungle camp. Starting to prepare for the Sand King to have more farm to fall back into as well. And finally, we haven't talked that much about the mid lane, but XM against Armel. Like I mentioned, there is room to outplay on this lane, even though it's tricky for Monkey King. Comes down to doing a lot of good mischief dodges against the damage from the lightning.
One thing is, though, you just have to let Lesh get all the runes, right?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, going one for one on the bounty runes is fine, but when the power runes come up, we'll see. Maybe with the help of support, he can try and fight against it, but Edict is a dangerous thing to fight into when there are no creeps around.
Yeah, being in that river is not a safe place to be. Armel and XM dead even in the last hits for now, though. Not too much of a worry for the Monkey King just yet. And Extreme Gaming obviously looking towards that kind of mid-game with Empower, Reverse Polarity with Wukongs, the big team fight capabilities they've got. And try and hit that kind of synchronization with the Lifestealer as well. I mean, hell, Lifestealer, are we still seeing this Armlet Radiance, or has he undergone changes? What are we expecting from Arme?
I completely expect it to be that. He's playing against 2 Blink heroes as well in Tiny and Sand King, so it's going to be very nice to have some Blink cancels. The Radiance does lose a little bit value since there's not that much right-click focus though.
Yeah.
Normally you want a fair few auto attacks to come in as well that you can block with a mischance. But yeah, Armlet, Facebook's Armlet is what he has queued up right now. Makes a lot of sense, the standard build-up. He could go for a more right-clicky oriented build, like Armlet into some Deathful Nullifier stuff and just try and kill people. Or even the SNY could come back.
Yeah, that's a good one.
This is actually a great SNY game. So many things that you want to resist. Get the stun durations down a bit.
Yeah, then you can have Rage, SNY, and BKB.
I just hate spells.
The trifecta of invulnerability. He's a real anti-mage now.
I was about to say anti-mage approves.
Yeah. Well, even with Jackie dying first blood, still gathering up his last hits top. Not too much crazy stuff happening in these lanes, but Pelosin for now is contesting the stacks that were made for Jabs to farm.
Yeah, going in and invading a little bit, but he's going to find himself pretty alone. Of course, no way for Lifesteer to go and help him. Can they body block the river, the bridge path? Yeah, he knows he can't get out that way.
Tame the beast and kill him off. Jab's getting the kill there, and Tim's going to go back and stack some more.
Yeah, he's going to go position to get the double stack as well. Looking for it. Actually, the top one isn't spawned right now. Yeah, good start for them. Over on that bottom lane for a boom. Meanwhile, top lane doing quite well as well, though, for the Magnus. Getting decent farm. No denies, though. He can't really slow down the Tiny farm rate too much.
But the gaps between the Tiny and the Lifesteal are becoming very apparent now, right? This Lifesteal last pick, you know. Yes, I feel like Sand King is doing better than I expected in this lane, but Lifestealer is just unbothered.
Yeah, he's starting to run away with the denies as well.
XXS dead there. They brought Tim's across. I don't know if he was needed for that kill, but for the bonus ones, maybe. Janwell and Jackie still punching back into Xinkyu, but Pelosin has now arrived to get on top of the Tiny, and the big briefcase baddie has come in to clap him down, but he doesn't have enough control to finish the job. Meanwhile,
oh boy,
middle lane.
Yeah, he got caught. Got caught by the edict. That's too much damage. I mean, that's the tricky part, and that's what I expected on this mid matchup. It's really hard for Monkey King. I can't really fault him for dying once here in this matchup. He ended up taking 936 damage from edict alone. Yeah, that's what happens if you just happen to get close to this Leshrac.
Yeah, a lot of damage.
Armel, he's on him again.
Oh, he's dead again. XM, feared up, rotated on by 2 supports, dead into respawn, into TP, into dead. Armel is going to get traded out, though, thanks to Xinkyu and Pelosin here. With that ether shock and the big punches of the ET, they get a 2-for-1 special.
That's a nice return, though. Pelosin just running into the waiting arms there. Armel thought that he had enough damage to bring down the ET quickly, but ET with big Astro Spirit buff smacks him down. That's a nice recovery, at least. Losing your Monkey King back-to-back like that is super painful, but at least to get some consolation towards the support.
Yeah, now Monkey King... Go on.
They have 2 supports level 5 minutes 7. That's really early.
Yeah,
like,
you're right.
Both of them are almost a full level ahead of their counterpart.
After the first death, I was going to praise the Monkey King. He's got great last hits. He was ahead of the Leshrac in farm. And he dies a second time. Does get to clear out some stacks now, though, and catch up a little bit. But a good 500 difference there between himself and the Leshrac.
Yeah,
again, a pretty close game. I mean, more action, more kills early on, but still that same tense feeling.
Yeah, definitely. Oh my gosh, Xinkyu is about to have such an early level 6 on his Shadow Shaman. Getting the Wisdom rune as well. They're gonna go 1-for-1 on the Wisdom. Can't wait to see what's gonna be the first big move in this game. Of course, we see Leshrac wanting to farm towards his Kaya. Already has been pretty aggressive in this game. Dying the one time, we might see him just play back a little bit more and build his own item build.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's usually looking at, off-lane heroes or initiation heroes. We see Sand King kind of rushing into this blink after phase and null. Magnus also going Blink, but maybe a little slower after the treads and double bracer. But it feels like that's got to be one of the big pivoting moments with these Blink Dagger reveals. Because everyone else is pretty farm heavy.
Yeah, everyone else has their own intentions, right? The Lifestealer and Tiny, they're not going anywhere. And the Monkey King is basically mold recovery. We sometimes see Monkey Kings go hyper aggressive when they have a tough mid matchup, but this somehow doesn't feel like the game for it. Like, you're not gonna kill Tiny that easily on this lane, so ganking him is kind of out of the question. He could make moves bottom now though, as both his supports are lining up for a tower push.
Jab's gonna burrow strike through the Lifestealer and away. So Serpent Wards for the tower. Poloson and Arme can clear up the wave and they can finish off this tier 1. Not too much to stop them. Boom is starting to filter heroes across. I see the Lashrak moving alongside this Sand King, holding out the position around the Ancients and clearing the stack before Extreme Gaming could get there. Very important move.
He's role-playing as an Earthshaker, you know? Just a little bit less efficient at doing it, but he still kills the Ancients, at least with this. And that's gonna put him very close to his Blink Dagger, so only 150 gold to go. And then we might see Sand King pair up with some supports to make moves across the map. But losing bottom tower already, Extreme Gaming, they strike first in this game. Unlike the previous game where it was Boom who pushed the tower first.
Yeah, now Boom have this vacuum in the bottom lane that always feels like you've got to send someone to go and fill it up, right?
Yeah, it's also difficult. Whoever goes down there, you're not going to be able to get any reinforcement. If you get jumped down there, you're just very, very alone and isolated.
Yeah, you are stranded.
Ooh, they're on the Monkey. Caught him with the Ringmaster ult.
Into the damage of Lashrak. XM is dead. Tims gets the kill, and now this Ice Path on 2. They found Xinkyu. Arme was also taking a bit of the fire there. Still has Infest to play around with. But Boom, bringing the speed, playing fast off the back of this Lashrak.
That almost looked like a low committal kill as well on Xinkyu. It was more collateral damage than anything else. Stomp lands on mid. They're looking for Lesh now with the TP in from Magnus.
Oh, they don't have the saves. They'd already bailed away from that mid lane, so Poloson gets the kill on Armel. Jakiro, Sand King, they were nearby. It looked like the other heroes were getting ready for a smoke and a pick off somewhere else, right? Getting ready to play with Sand King Blink.
Yeah, you see that Leshrac just kind of melting the Macropyre as well. Lingering damage, but yeah, Lesh lingered as well on that mid lane. Gets punished for it. So they always get something back, it feels like, in these engagements. Losing their Monkey King earlier, they get the kill on the Lesh, and this time again, getting the Lesh takedown after the fact. Not letting him snowball out of control.
And this is that key moment in the game. Blink Dagger timing. Debuts for the two sides. And it's Boom moving south, unsmoked. So Arme just, traipses across, goes through the twin gate, and the rest of his team are setting up top. Xinkyu with the Serpent Wards in there behind the tower. Arme steps forward with the help of the Wukong's command. Jackie stuck inside the golden ring.
Sand King doesn't have a TP ready. He has TP cooldown, so there's no way for them to fight. I don't think they can fight without the epicenter, and that looks like it's just going to be tower number 2 for them. Going down very easily, along with that kill on the Tiny.
Was that because did he TP mid to try and save the Leshrac?
No, I think he just TP'd bottom afterwards.
Okay. Magnus. 12-minute rune spawning up, and XXS tries to go for it. He's going to get caught here and taken down. Even with the RP spent, the magic damage just still keeps on flowing.
And now with the TD rune and the Kaya, he's got all the spell amp. Big damage coming out from Lesh.
Monstrous.
Yeah. Queuing up the Bloodstone. Playing against a bunch of melee heroes. Feels good to have this. Smoke up now with Sand King and the 2 supports. Are they going to be happy just grabbing a kill? They are.
Now you got to go for what you can see. They see the ET, but not the Monkey King anymore.
You can't fight what you can't see, Gareth.
You can't. I mean, Jabs is trying, but...
Yeah, well, fighting against him, fighting against the desert. So, update. Yeah, we have some big farming going on. While we have this farming intermission, there's an update on Ame. He's at 2.1k gold, towards his Radiant. Already has the armlet, of course. So he's gonna go for that standard build, even though, as I mentioned, he would probably have loved to have a bit more value from the mischance. But the burn alone is gonna be amazing here.
Magnus is about to pick up his blink, so a little bit behind the Sand King, as we were mentioning. Going for a few more of those little items in between.
Yeah, it's coming out now for him though.
Behind.
Finally has it on the courier flying out. And Monkey gonna go for the Mage Slayer. Very standard build, and of course when you're against this many magic damage heroes, there's really no other alternative for Monkey King. He pretty much got shoehorned into this item build.
His job is to run in, hit Lesh.
Yeah, drop an ulti, hopefully hit everyone, you know, deal with all the magic dealers.
Yeah.
Damage dealers. So now they have to avoid fighting in the Wukongs. That could be very, very dangerous for Boom. If they commit to a fight under Wukongs, they would lose so much of their output. Of course,
Tiny's done a good job.
Does apply it.
Yeah, strong. I think Tiny's done a good job here, just evacuating top, playing back, not getting caught at all. He died that one time under tower, but outside of that, he's been very casually just farming through jungle camps. And now Extreme Gaming show on the mid lane. Tiny, where's he going?
He wants to keep farming, and he doesn't really want to go down and contest his own team for farming, so going to top part of the map. But that is the third Rasta ulti used and the third tower down. Extreme Gaming, very methodical in removing all these buildings. Oh, dude, he's going for the Aghanims build on Shinkyu. Of course, my man. Very exciting build. Yeah,
Finally.
Yeah, this build is it's not good. I'm gonna be honest.
What do you mean? It's infinite damage.
Yeah, it can do tremendous damage. Every 0.9 seconds, you will trigger an ether shock around the target that you shackle. You can shackle your allies and you can shackle enemies. If your ally shackles, then they can run within 2,000 range and keep shocking people. It can be nice, but yeah, it's generally pretty weak.
Meme build.
A bit. Oftentimes you look at it and you go, well, I could have had Blink and Ether Lens. Would I rather have had that? Probably, yeah.
A bit
We'll
of
see
a
though.
fight brewing
Maybe
around
he
this
can get value.
tormentor.
Ring is
Kevin
tagging people.
Kevin the Kobold scouting out as well.
He's hitting them, not just scouting. He's in there. He's DPSing. He is gonna lose the battle to the ET, unsurprisingly. Yeah. Kevin hasn't won many melees.
He's not really a gladiator, is he?
Well, not one of the ones you heard of, at least.
One of the ones who died for sharks in the water. Shadow Shaman gone. Wukong's out. Macroplier onto XM. This Leshrac, Armel dropping very low, and they actually managed to bring him down. Extreme Gaming, they've lost a support, killed off a core, but XM and XXS, they're still going to die. Even inside the Wukong's command, they are surrounded on all sides. So Boom come out victorious.
I mean, Extreme still going in. Ame has the ulti ready, so he's going for the kill and get in an escape car to get out.
And off he goes.
Can't stop this little creep. He's running, he's zooming across the map. So in the end, kind of an even trade, but Boom did a great job in that fight, staying outside of the Wukongs and just throwing in different spells into the people inside it. It was actually Monkey and Magnus just kind of sitting there in the Wukong's command like, hey, aren't we supposed to be strong in here? But get tagged by random daggers, impalement arts. Look at this, he's sitting there on Igon and Ringmaster just poking and throwing damage in.
There's ice paths and macropliers, all sorts of business coming in.
Yeah, and then the beautiful ulti towards the end.
Well done by Boom there. Did they go and get the Tormentor though in the end? Is the Tormentor still alive, huh?
It is still alive. The resources were pretty low on both teams, so there were no real easy ways to take it down as the fight concluded. So fighting for that control of the bottom part of the map is still important. I think Radiant could easily grab the Tormentor, as there's no tier 1 tower for Dire. It's difficult for him to get down there.
Oh, wow, so Jinkyu is actually committing for this Axe build, huh?
He is. Yeah, he is currently 900 or 850 gold away from it. And we'll see how good it's gonna work out. So analyzing it in a serious manner, the Aghanims does mean that he doesn't have the initiation that you would expect from a Rasta. He doesn't have that Blink or Ether Lens. he also doesn't have any saving tool. But what he does trade off is that he gets huge damage potential with either Monkey or Magnus going in. And both of them are pretty good at jumping in. Like if he shackles up his Monkey and Monkey jumps on a tree and then Primal springs in, that can work. It can be tremendous.
Waga, you know those old meme tactics of having like a lifestealer Radiance infest inside of a Pudge who eats an IO tethers them or whatever, gets eaten and gobbles them all up? Can we shackle a lifestealer to jump into Magnus to blink in, or does the shackle get broken when you infest? Do you know this? Do you know this very specific interaction?
It will break, is my prediction. I don't know that one specifically, but I do know that Storm breaks, for instance, because he becomes invulnerable. And I think this will count the same, because Rasta needs to still be shackling, and the moment you jump into someone, you can't be shackled anymore. So that shouldn't work.
That makes perfect sense, yeah.
Yeah, that's why it's kind of weird to find the right heroes for this. Nice pick off here, no way out. I've been wanting to see people pick Centaur with Rasta and doing this. Because Centaur with an Aghanims and Shadow Shamans with an Aghanims, you could pick up the Shadow Shaman with the Centaur cart, and then Shadow Shaman shackles the Centaur, who's already sped up from the Aghanims. This is the ultimate meme combo.
Oh my God.
If you have a friend and you're playing Dota, if you want to do some silly shenanigans, try going Centaur, Shadow Shaman, and doing Aghanims. Report back to me. I would have already done it.
Report back to you. They'll be reported.
Report back everyone who reports you. Yeah, ultimately, though, you can't stop the Shadow Shaman from shackling when he's in the Centaur card, because even an AoE stun doesn't stun you at that point. So it's potentially a thing. Very one-dimensional, but it could be strong.
But it's still funny, though. I was thinking, during Blast, we had, I think it was Planet, who was buying Aghanim Scepter, and he queued up Ags, saved up like, we're going to jump on Magnus. Stun into the Rod of Atos. XXS dead to the last strike damage. Easy as you like. Like Mag is pretty tanky, you know? Like 2,000 HP. Disappears.
You'd think so, but yeah, against these heroes, this goes down very, very quickly. And now have to concede this area as well. Not gonna be able to fight for their own Ancient. Oh, Tiny gets the grab.
Yeah, finds Q. Doesn't get the toss back or anything, though. Gonna rely on the Lash to follow through with the damage. And off he pops. Shadow Shaman down. The Wukong is out. Not great, though, from Extreme Gaming. Losing 2 heroes, extending Wukong's a bit of a waste there. And boom, super happy. Just firing on all cylinders. Coming into this area, taking control, then back to farming.
That's not the first Wukongs that has felt pretty off this game. XM with the first one bottom as well. That didn't really catch anyone. Feels like they just walk out of it. They need to combo up the Magnus catching someone or ET stomping someone with then a Wukongs. These Wukongs into no disable. It's painful to watch. He's not getting any value out of his spell. And yeah, you could have, perhaps seen Shadow Shaman survive there if he happened to have a 4-staff or a Glimmer or something like that. But we in it for the memes here, Q, my boy. We still believe in you.
Right. Yeah, I was going to say, so we had this game during Blast where Planet, I'm not kidding, for a good 15 minutes, he was like queuing Ags, swapping to Ether Lens, queuing Ags, swapping to Blink, queuing Ags, he couldn't decide. He really wanted to do it, but I think he was just being told by his team, you're not allowed to.
Yeah.
So in the end, he ended up going for the, Ether Lens, Blink Dagger, regular stuff, but we were so excited to see the Aghanim Scepter. Now Q is actually bringing it.
Yeah, I mean, it is also worth mentioning that it does do something beyond just Ether Shock damage. It does actually give you 150 cast range on the Shackle. It's not as good as an Ether Lens, which gives you 225 to all your spells, but it does give you a bit of extra cast range on the most important catching spell, the Shackle, to get that long duration catch. But even so, he's again gonna die, I'm afraid, down here. Can he find a way out of this? He actually is sort of staying unseen. Finally, they see him.
Yeah, they found him. Jackie in yet again with that starting move. And the rest of the team backing him up. Tiny finally being able to show his face after a good 20 minutes of farming.
Yeah, can I just say, I think, Shadow Shaman Shard right now is probably one of the lower impact shards, in my opinion. You get 3 additional uncontrollable chickens, but the amount of times I see a Shadow Shaman live because of that is not often.
No.
People have to chase you a bit more.
Well, people just buy blood grenades, huh? We've seen mid to late game blood grenades against Shadow Shaman just because he dies.
That's true. Yeah, we've seen that. And also, people are already used to running you down because you already have... If it was that the shard gave him the entire thing that he has as his innate, like he gets the entire foul play, that would be a pretty good shard. You know, that would be really worth. But since he already has foul play as an innate, upgrading it doesn't really make that much of a difference.
Yeah.
Because it's still only 1.5 seconds duration of taking away damage. So you're not going to get off a blink or something like that, and no crazy stuff. You know what it would work really well with? A glimmer or force staff or something that you can, you know, something you could do.
A utility item.
Yeah.
Not an Aghanim Scepter.
Yeah.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see. He's got the Aghanim Scepter. They've got a smoke. They've now got BKB on Magnus. So the stars kind of aligning here for Extreme Gaming to go and get something done. And Jinkyu had been, planting wards earlier on. So they saw Jackie farming in this outer ring down in the far south of the map.
Oh, Jackie wants to get out of here. Can he get out in time? Oh, Magnus not going straight for it.
Oh, he's gone.
Oh, Mag trying to swoop around, checking the Ancients first. They are still on the hunt. This is a long pursuit. They're not going towards the Ancients. They see the tanking, though.
Oh, Jabs blinks very quickly. Looks like Tiny's going to slip away from this one, while the Sand King still being jumped on here by the lifestealer and the Magnus under a sentry ward and being munched on. Jabs should eventually die with the help of the ET Stomp. They get the job done.
They do get him, but that was like their entire team making a very long move for it. Great pickoff in the end, but meanwhile the Ancients were cleared, a lot of lanes were pushed out, and Tiny didn't die, the real target that you wanted. So it feels fine, but they want more. Extreme. The good thing is they didn't have to spend any big ability. RP still up. Wukong's still available.
And they can think about fighting around this Roshan, who is currently moving through the river, getting to his new home in the top pit.
Snakes get dropped for top tower. Again, going on to buildings, questioning. Are they going to defend it in any way? They just leave the snakes and run away, it seems. Don't see anyone right now, so they want to play it pretty safe. Extreme Gaming, they don't know. Of course, Boom, they're just kind of chilling right now. They're not making a move. Yeah, you can shackle your own wards. It's a fun little detail. So if you do catch a solo enemy hero, you can actually hex them up and then shackle your ward if you just want DPS. A lot of times you need to shackle for disabling the enemy, though.
That's funny.
And the Aghanims does not hit the target that you shackle. So, oh, he's using his courier to farm on Shadow Shaman. That is some gimmicky stuff. Why am I watching it?
So a couple of minutes ago he was laughing. I was like, what's he laughing at? Oh, he's shackling his serpent board and shackling his courier.
But he has so little vision that he's hardly hitting the creeps. There we go.
He's got no mana left. Now he needs to go buy a hex or something.
You know, this way Jinkyu is always smiling. To him, Dota is a game, you know? He's playing Dota in a very fun way always. Is it always the approved, most standard way of playing? No, and that's what's so great about Jinkyu. He's a creative type player.
That's incredible. Then you got the opposite, right? Armate, very, very serious, stoic.
Literally the strictest player, you know?
Seriously.
Yeah, he will follow the correct build, or sometimes he will just invent the correct build and be like, this is it, and people won't question him. It won't be silly. It will just be, okay, now we're buying Sanjiasha on that hero, you know? Like, okay.
He's playing Mozart on the piano. He's like, no, this phrase is wrong, actually. You didn't mean to do this.
Fact-checking, like, yeah.
No improvisation, no soloing. He'll follow the score, yeah. Time signature's correct. Key is correct, but I'm not sure about this phrasing here, Mr. Mozart. ABC? I don't know.
Ooh, both teams colliding right now. Tiny getting vision on this.
Stun on Lifestealer. He's shackled up. The RP comes in from XXS, catches a couple there, but the Macropire Ice Path down. Arbel dropping low. Bloodstone's up, but the damage doesn't come fast enough. Can't spell Lifestealer. Now look at XM. Monkey King straight on in. The BKB's wearing out from Jackie Boy, so they focus onto Tim's. Tiny's out of there. Meanwhile, Januel munched on. Jabs and Tim's on the run. Jackie trying to escape as they channel the epicenter and turn back to try and fight. Get something if they can on their retreat and escape, but Jabs, he is down. Tim's follows him quickly. 4 in a row, and Extreme Gaming They just shut the door on Boom there.
Yeah, it was a hard commitment to try and get the Lifestealer burst immediately. Not an easy target for them. If they drop all their spells, maybe they can burst him, but that was where the Wukong's command this time denied that possibility as well. And we saw Xingqiu kind of throwing the defensive shackle onto Ame, just saying, okay, if you want to fight him, there's going to be a lot of zippy snaps coming out of him as well, to anyone who happens to go close. Massive team fight for them. They get the Roche, quick ages, and again, moving aggressively. I think they want to take over the enemy ancient area as soon as possible. That mid tower, one of the last few obstacles on the map.
I mean, let's be real, right? Last pick Lifestealer, a hero that you kind of wanted. You were talking about this BKB hero. He's got Rage, BKB, Sanjanyasha, the item build we were talking about.
Yeah.
20,000 net worth, 30 minutes in. Is Arme killable?
No, I don't think so. I mean, to be Sand King against Lifestealer, it's hard to describe how sad that is. It's just really rough. You don't really have much room for counterplay. You saw Jabs repeatedly pump fake his ulti looking for the right time to jump, but it's so difficult. If Lifestealer even walks close to you, you can't blink anymore, and fighting into the Wukongs is not an option. There's so many limiting factors right now. I almost think you desperately need a BKB on Sand King so that you can be unaffected by Mage Slayer and maybe take a fight under the Wukongs. Like, that could be a way. He has queued up the BKB right now. I think he has the same feel. Like, I can't do anything, you know? The monkey counters you.
Yeah, he needs some way to make the game playable.
A monkey with a big pickup for himself as well. We talk a lot about Ame, but Nullifier coming out for this Monkey King now. That's going to be a huge item coming in as well. No Ringmaster saves if you're quick on it. You cannot nullify the Ringmaster box. You have to do it before the box is used. Otherwise, they're not targetable.
And then Ghost Scepter on this Lesh, has provided a few seconds of respite from the damage. All of a sudden, undone. When you speak about undone, Tim's just disappears on my screen. What, Armel? Oh, he tried a TP, but he's been hexed and shackled, killed off. And now Boom bleeding out in game 2.
Rasta finally having those items as well now. Blink, Aetherlands are both here, so getting in and getting a quick disable on him. And Boom looking a bit lost on this map. They don't really have anything to play towards. Tiny is their last hope, but he's not having the game that we saw in the previous one where he kept getting pickoffs non-stop. He only has 1 kill to his name.
I mean, this is Extreme, who have tightened up a lot. I mean, even just the explosive early game from the Lesh rack has been halted completely. Monkey King has now overtaken the Lesh in net worth. Lifestealer has been light years ahead of the Tiny for quite some time. Man, the Shadow Shaman, you're saying, he's got his items now after the Aghanim Scepter. The Aghanim's got him there. He's now ahead of the Magnus and the Sand King. Yeah. Look at him.
That is the power of the Aghanims, is that it farms insanely fast. He can very safely just use Shackle like that on his own creeps, and that pushes out lanes.
That's way better than the old shard that used to give you the Serpent Wards on Shackles.
Yes, it is better for farming.
They've caught the Sand King. Oh, nearly. Oh, they've got him. He's dead. In the blink of an eye, he's down to half HP. Then another blink later, he's gone.
And aggressive Wukongs as well, just zoning them out and saying that we're going to take your racks during this duration. Is there anything they can do? Tiny is looking with the Shadow Blade to move around, but it just doesn't look fightable.
It's one of those, like, lose-lose situations. If you buy back Sand King now to try and fight, he never gets BKB.
Armel sold his Ghost Scepter to buy the BKB, so he has a 9-second BKB. This is I think it's the correct play against Nullifier, but can they get a fight out of it?
Trying to stop the Magnus initiation. That Boundless Strike, though, turning and returning fire. Keeps XXS alive there, again with the Infest, as the backstab from the Sand King, the Epicenter, does some damage, but they've not got any killing blows on Xingqiu. Maybe they can finish him off with a slap. The little chicken is down. They get a kill, but it's a costly one. They're looking at Ame now through the Aegis, through the fire and the flames. This Lifestealer will lose that first life. He's being backed up by the Elder Titan currently, and it looks like Boom just don't want to be involved with this at all.
Yeah, no way to fight this. Round 2 is not what they're interested in against the Lifestealer as he comes back. I like Ame as well swapping the BKB before he dies with Aegis there. A lot of players, they wait until after they're dead and they swap in BKB into that inventory slot. But then you always have cooldown for 1 second before the respawn, no matter how fast you are. Swapping it before he died, made sure he had BKB ready on the respawn. Just minor details, but it is these details that make Ame, one of the greats when it comes to playing carry.
That's one of those things where you learn through experience, right? You've got the reps in, you figured out what you need to do in these situations to make things cleaner and crisper for yourself and your team. And Magnum Scepter a couple of 100 gold away. So what was that? That was mid-racks. They tried to push tier 3. Extreme lost the Aegis, so now back to kind of waiting for next Roshan. But I don't know. The ball is in Boom's court. Like, what are you going to do now?
Oh, it's so tough. It's tough for them to even get out on the map. And right now, they could be going for anything on the side of Extreme Gaming. They're actually going to swap down bottom and make a stab into safe right side farm. This is such a directed move. A lot of teams would probably have gone back for the Tormentor there. But that would also give information to Boom. Oh, we're over there. They aren't going to find anyone just yet. But the smoke has enough duration to maybe catch someone on the mid lane. The ward did see them walk out into their own jungle. The vision on Jakiro right now.
And next success. He's going to go straight on to Janwell. Arme, godlike on this lifestealer. 905. A perfect pick, a perfect play. And now looking for the push up onto high ground with Serpent Wards used. Jinkyu starts it off, and Arme can come and finish it off.
They know Jakiro bought back as well before, so he cannot be alive for this fight. 60 seconds.
You're right.
And right now, they need every piece of the puzzle to take this fight. So I think he just sacked bottom lane of Rax, but that's a tough call to make. Anki is pumping the ulti.
And going onto Lifestealer. All right, Avalanche, toss, half HP Arme, but they turn with this RP. Magnus and Lifestealer are going to munch on the Tiny. Wukong's in the back, dealing with a Leshrac. And Boom are 3 heroes down with no response. Tiny crumbles and falls, and good game called. Extreme Gaming, they take game 2 and turn things